Well, it's time to get into the last match of the evening. It is Team Envy going up against MOCKIT. Let's take it over to the commentary desk with Shogun and Final Carpet. Take it away, guys.
It is now time for our final game in EU week number 3. This whole scene is just completely divided. The entire leaderboard is completely shattered. And I think it could not have been represented any better than that death segment right there. Every single person showing that when it comes to EU, you can think you know things. And then over the course of the 6-hour broadcast that we have here, it all goes completely out of the wire. What are you doing over there?
So I just did some math.
Yeah.
Everything they just said makes 0 sense. Like 0 is what I got.
I mean, that
was garbage.
That's just an average. We times that by Gibbs and just automatically wrong.
Times the EU factor by Gibbs' knowledge of things, and you get 0. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Is that like a Rocket League only thing, or is that like just in general?
I don't know. I avoid them at all costs.
Nice. That is a smart. You are a smart man. We should times it by carpet from now on.
You'll get like 0.1. Don't worry about it.
That's still
all right,
more.
So what do you think? Team Envy MOCKIT. They seem pretty split on the desk. Team Envy really is hurting. Even you seeing the tweets immediately after. I always love seeing how they respond because I think that's a huge part of it too, especially when you have a long day, 2 series split up. How did you react to a win or a loss? We've seen a lot of positivity lately from losses, but I don't know. Can Envy bounce back? They really are in the danger zone.
Well, we were talking about it on overtime that teams need to learn how to be winners, how to maintain that consistent streak. I think right now a good thing for Envy is, at this point, they don't feel like world champions. They're going to feel like they are now chasing the rest of the scene back again. I think that might actually spur them back on to be back to their previous great save. So Greasy couldn't quite make it there to open up the scoring for Team Envy. But yes, as the desk said, this is must win. The entire European leaderboard is all over the place right now. And the only way to avoid being sucked into just the utter calamity is to take wins, and that could be another one. There is Fairy Peak, puts that one up high.
How?
He just went too early.
How did he miss that?
Just
the counterattack immediately. Devo's not going to make the same mistake at Fairy Peak. That is quite sloppy on both sides, to be completely frank. Pesci getting coincidentally knocked as Greasy goes up to try and contest him for that. And Team Envy gets the first goal, I guess.
Do, but at least it is on Devo, a player that has been very quiet so far this season. After having 2 seasons of just phenomenal performances, needs to start getting himself going if Envy are to have any chance. That's a strong season performance. Remco just over the top of one. Devo wants to try and go for the shutdown. Team Envy holding on to that 1 goal lead. That's going to be a lovely flick on by Remco. Need more like that. Force MOCKIT to move, because MOCKIT will be happy to hold themselves back in time, so that's going to be a very difficult situation. MOCKIT completely mispositioned.
I mean, it was a matter of time. The last 3 shots, MOCKIT double commit for. The last 3, they 100% double commit for. And you are going to eventually have to deal or pay some kind of price when you keep that up. It feels like MOCKIT are trying to do a bit too much right now. Maybe they understand that what an angry Envy can do, but they are just all dedicating for a bit too much. They're trying to be too big of a part of the team as opposed to working with each other.
Devo flicks it up. He's going to try and get up there as quickly as he possibly can. There was no challenge, though, from MOCKIT, still holding themselves back. Not wanting to create an even bigger problem than they already have. There's Remco. He's launched it very well. I like this so far from Envy. There seems like there's intent to their gameplay, something that has been lacking so far this season. They've just been hitting the ball and hoping that maybe someone on the opposing team will just make the mistake that opens it all up. Nope. This game so far, they are pressing, seeing what they can force. Remco low boost. Want to try and get over to Devo. He will start rotating back now. MOCKIT are finally going to have their opportunity maybe to get out their own half. Devo's actually not got contact. Here's Freaky. Over, and there was 2 players committed. Fairy Peak and Pesci. Someone had to go for it. I think Fairy Peak had the better shot available. Now Ice.
So that was actually really clean. Sorry, that was a clean air dribble.
That was a very clean air dribble. We've seen a lot of those over the past few weeks. Devo, Bluey, and Timmy mostly being the top providers of those. Over those guys on the pitch, though. See who can be the one to step up with those big, flashy plays. And will wreck a defense in a matter of seconds. Those long balls, though, not going to trouble MOCKIT, but it does waste more and more time as we head into the final 2 minutes. Then another long ball. MOCKIT need to start playing this a little bit better. It's Envy. This is where they performed very well in previous seasons, locking down a team, especially when they've got a lead, and just not allowing anything dangerous to come towards their side of the net. Freaky with the flick on. This should be easily dealt with by Remco. We just get it up. Now Freaky. Cut it into the middle. No one running onto the shot, though, means no power. Final 90 seconds, and MOCKIT are struggling to put something solid together. That is a somewhat poor touch, but it has been followed up, and it has been set up, and it is going to be Remco picking up his first. Picking up his second, I should say.
Incidental, given the fact that they were, 2 goals down. They only had a minute and a half. They were going to put a lot of pressure on. But the moment you know you're beat, or if you aren't closing that gap, that third person really needs to be aware to drop all the way back. And now they're going to be fighting a 3-goal struggle for only a minute and 27 seconds.
It's going to be very hard for them indeed, but for Envy, this is perfect. Get rid of that bad taste in your mouth of your previous series, then this is the way to do it. Just going to be about consistency now. There's been... That word is the one thing that every single player in Rocket League seems to be looking for the most. It's the ability to just consistently do your best every single game, and that is what wins you championships. It's Greasy, the flick up. MOCKIT just got to take control of this ball. Greasy barely even moving to take that shot. But Envy are on fire, and they are tearing MOCKIT to shreds.
They really seem to have spread out on the field. Just the positioning. Remco straight into Greasy, then Devo cutting that back across. Remco there to secure. Pashy caught between a rock and a bigger rock, honestly.
It was a case of the ball's left, the ball's right, the ball's left, and that's it. You're just trying to chase at that point in time. It's the Envy pendulum as they put themselves 4-0 up in our opening game. Be all about whether or not MOCKIT can really step up. They should be talking to each other right now about what they can do differently. Greasy with the tap down over to Remco. Stuff like this we just have not seen so far this season from Envy. If they can keep this up, this is going to be one heck of a series, especially if MOCKIT can find their footing, because so far they have just been encased, ensnared almost in their own half for this entire game. Final 15 seconds, and it will be Envy taking our first win. But right now, Carpet, you've had 5 minutes to take a look at both these teams. You've had 5 minutes to get a good little summary in your head of it. What do MOCKIT need to do differently? How do they get the ball out of their half?
It's hard to think of that. I definitely found my eyes more leaning towards Team Envy, because they are the ones, for me, that I'm really trying to wait to perform. And they had a lot of the passing plays. They really had good touches. I think MOCKIT, in the beginning, at least for the first 2 minutes, it seemed like they all wanted to do just a little bit too much. They all really wanted to be a part of something. They all tried their hardest to make a good touch. A lot of double commits on defense.
Yes.
And that's where that first goal went in, the second goal went in, and then another one went in when they overcommit. They went a little bit too far. They all found themselves past the halfway mark. So, it feels more like a defense fallout than an offense, but clearly with no shots. That results in there's a billion reasons of why you can't put up shots. Either it's because you're stuck on defense the whole time, because you keep double committing, or because you just aren't being creative enough when approaching. But if this Envy I have never seen to this season, we really haven't seen them perform well with Greasy here at the RLCS, at least not yet. They have been struggling since they had him, and obviously we know he's good.
Yep.
He's a very talented individual, but I feel like they hadn't really figured out their roles, and roles are tough in Rocket League because
there's very small differences between every single player, but they do make the difference because it's such a quick game that you need everyone to be around as quickly as you can possibly get them to. So having those roles predefined, having at least knowing where, okay, we've seen this situation hundreds of times as we've been practicing. I know exactly where this guy's going to be. I know how his brain works.
Yeah.
It's so useful, and it has been ever since Rocket League first came out. It's just getting more and more in depth, and it will continue to get more and more in depth.
And the more the Team Envy spread out, the more that MOCKIT will probably get benefit from bumps and demos, which we know that Patchy 90, everyone kind of says he started the kind of bump meta.
Yeah, I'd agree
I don't
with
know
that.
how true that is, but I do know that he was one of the
He was
earlier...
certainly the one that had like the biggest performance with a very bumpy game.
Yeah, he kind of started the whole, I'm just going to keep bumping you, and we're actually going to turn it into a thing. When I'm just going to bump you for fun or because I'm there, we're actually going to put it into part of our gameplay. So I think the more you see a team spread out and looking for passes, the more that bumps become like your way to capitalize because they're relying on each other to be so skillful in the positions that they're in.
Certainly is. Just going to try and sort out this game for you guys, ladies and gentlemen, very soon. For the time being, I actually, last week I got everyone timed out because I told them to put exclamation point something. Shouldn't do that again this week.
No, you should.
I should.
You should.
What should we go for?
I don't know. What bans you that I can say on air?
I think it's pretty much anything at this point in time. Exclamation point, I like Shogun. There we go.
There you go. Exclamation point, follow Shogun on Twitter if we're going to do the meme.
I don't think... Oh, yes.
Yeah, just go with the meme.
I'm trying not to bring that one up at this point in time. I'm going to let everyone else do that.
Yeah, you don't want to shamelessly plug your own social media.
Yeah, that'd be really bad, wouldn't it?
You'd never want to... You never want to shamelessly plug Final Carpet's Twitter at Final Carpet.
Oh, at Final Carpet. You haven't got the RL at the end.
No.
Good.
Who would have my name? Why would I put RL at the end?
Yeah, Wave Punk. Why would you put RL at the end of your Twitter handle? That would be really... I shouldn't say that's the end of my Twitch.
Yeah, probably.
Twitch.tv, Mega Shogun RL.
All right. I think we're done shamelessly plugging ourselves.
I do hope so.
This is very shameful.
This is very shameful.
Team Envy really seem to have picked it up. And I think a lot of fans of them are going to be very happy with how the first game performed. I don't know if it's just maybe they just cut off all outside activity. I think Remco tweeted out like, I'm going to take a break from Twitter because I get frustrated and I go to Twitter. And I don't want to do that anymore. So maybe they're taking like some kind of special take things seriously pill, taking a class. I don't know what it is they're doing, but it worked. Maybe it's just Twitter. Maybe he's always like got a Twitter feed up next to him while he's playing, and he's like, "What? Well, she said what?" While he's like playing.
That's a very obvious thing because anyone in this position, it's very easy to turn around to players, just go, "Don't look at Twitter. Never do it."
Yeah.
You're gonna look at Twitter.
Probably.
Everyone looks at Twitter for this sort of stuff, and they're gonna look at it and they just go, "Get it in your head." Even if what you're being told is wrong, even if it's just, things being thrown at you, it starts to stick there, especially for these sorts of players. There's been some players I've spoken to that are just saying, look, I'm not really handling it too well, even when it comes to what commentators are saying about them.
Yeah.
It's a case of whenever you are in the RLCS, it basically gets to be like a 6-week block where everything is not being paid attention to. The only thing we're focusing on is the RLCS, is on our performances. Nothing else is important.
I mean, the teams that you see thrive, a lot of what you can say of why a team did this and why a team did that, it's a lot of speculation just because Rocket League is so position-based, it's so reactionary. But overall, if your mechanical skills are there and they're on point, it will put you in a better place moving forward. If you can always win your 50-50s, i.e. Fireburner, and if you can always make sure you get your shots, people like Jacob, people like Garrett G, people like Corrupted G, if you can always be that, then you're always going to be in a better place. So when you see things like that missed shot from Fairy Peak at the beginning of the game, when you really should have had that, what is it that makes it happen? You clean those up generally when you just kind of lock in on the game.
We're going to get ourselves into game number 2. Pashi almost shutting that down immediately. MOCKIT. They've had time in between these two series. These two games to suddenly figure everything out. Saying at the end of the last 40 seconds of the previous game that really wanted them to be speaking to each other about what they can change. Well, we've had a good couple of minutes now to try and sort that out, so excuses will be out the window. It's time to see what the solution is that they have come up with. It's Devo. I'll put it to the side. Something that's become so much more difficult recently. Usually pushing the ball away from your net has been so almost safe, but as teams get very good at predicting what the defender is trying to do. Oh my goodness, Fairy Peak! Hello! How are you?
Hello, indeed. He got bumped directly into that, recovered on the wall, somehow found the angle to put that under the crossbar. That has to be quite the boost, especially from the miss last game. Starting off game number 2 strong, just erasing that loss.
I'm sorry to everyone I scared with that, but Fairy Peak just scared me. He came out of nowhere to take that shot, puts it straight in, and MOCKIT with the dream start to game 2. Although this might be turning away, no, a good save there from Fairy Peak yet again. Having such a different season to the one he had last time. So much more involved in the play, and I think that just suits him down to the ground.
Nice contest from Remco.
Fairy Peak once again coming through on the rotation, pushing to the corner. Now looking for Freaky, but Breezy puts himself right behind. Now Remco, the long clear. He's going to go straight over to Ferry Peak. Wants to catch it a little bit more, and now it's going to offer Envy an opportunity to get themselves forward, see what they control. They've already made a play for the back left-hand side boost. Pashi is going to pick up the other one. And see, he almost prioritized that over the ball, recognizing it was going to be way too hard to play the ball away. There is a shot, and this is exactly why he did it, thinking ahead to the future. And now MOCKIT looking so strong, and they've done it yet again, the counter-attack.
You noticing Pashi going for that boost was actually massive. That's the only reason he was able to even get that counter-attack. He was trying to think more than one step ahead. Yeah, he could have sat there and contested the ball, but he knew he had enough time to grab that boost and enough time for a player to come help him out. And they only had so much of an angle. They couldn't hit it up the corner because Pashi was sitting right there, which means they had to try and cut it into the backboard. So they narrowed down the chances of their opponents, and they were able to capitalize on a counterattack.
Pashi's got one of the best Rocket League brains we've ever seen. And now MOCKIT are going to reap the benefits of that. 2-0 up. Different strikes, and now heading into the final 3 minutes. Team Envy find themselves trailing. Despite taking game number 1, 2 players go for that, but no dives mean MOCKIT can fix their rotation, although they will be giving up some space over to Envy. Envy are going to have to do all of the work to try and take this. Ferry Peak taps that down, gets rid of Greasy. Now he's against Devo, gets it past Devo. And now both those players are going to have to try and rotate back as quickly as they can, but that miss allows Greasy to take control of the ball in that midfield area. Envy still trying to find a way through. They need an opening. That was almost it right there, but MOCKIT once again shutting down the doors.
They did try and snag as much boost as they could, and now Demolition on the side will give this a 3v2 for a very short period of time.
Got that one pulled out as well, but Freaky. The rotation has been so clean defensively for MOCKIT. They'll need to keep it that way as well, especially since they are giving up a lot of that midfield pressure over to Envy. Just need to find a little bit of creativity if they want to get it past this defense. That might be it. Freaky tries to get there. Remco, he smelled blood. He just couldn't quite catch Freaky on the bump. Still, 2-0, 100 seconds remaining. Remco almost got there in time. Freaky had to try and play the player and the shot. 2 potential avenues to come out there. Final 90 seconds. Envy needs something soon. MOCKIT will be happy to turtle up in this game. It's going to be bounced over to the side. Devo puts that one down. Who's going to be the first one over to this? Devo pushing that straight back over to Greasy. Envy just needs someone shadowing. They're doing it very well in the midfield area, but once they get it down to the final third, they seem to be holding back. There's a line there for whoever's not playing the ball, and that's going to be 3. 1 minute remaining. MOCKIT looking solid. This
is tough for the defenders at this point. Devo, the last man back, just all he has to do is buy time, but Freaky kept it away from him well. Just before Devo got there, he smacked it right past him, directly into the corner. And at that point, Devo would have had to have been either on the backboard coming out or already on the corner. There was no way he was going to beat Freaky to that. So well played by Freaky to get it around that final defender.
MOCKIT have played this situation very well. Just nibbling away, catching their opponents off guard, and taking goals whenever they can without really putting themselves in too much danger. Could that be number 4? Nope. 2 players prevent that from happening, but if we continue like this, we're going to be all tied up now. The ball played off the back. It's going to be Ferry Peak there just in time. You can see it every single time Envy wants to move forward. MOCKIT just using that back post rotation, gets solid contact on the ball, and it's not allowing Envy any chances to go for rebounds. So, heading into the final 15 seconds, a very different game to game number 1, Carpet. I'm going to give you the very same question. Team Envy, this time game not going for them. What do they need to change heading into our 3rd match?
I mean, you said it, it feels like they're not really all there when they do have offense. And once you've made that one shot, once you've made that one defender move, you have to make the decision as a team. Do we keep this up? Do we just try and keep pulling them out until we either burn them out of boost or finally find a hole to sink it in? It seemed like they would get that first one in, and you said they're shadowing really well in midfield. But then once they get into offense, they're just letting the one person go. And is it out of fear, or is it out of maybe misrotation? Maybe they don't have the boost. Maybe they're struggling at the midfield boost. I don't really know what it is. It's very hard to pinpoint at it, you know, when I only have the one time going through to watch them. I'd have to rewatch it myself. We will know by the end of this if Team Envy is a fan of Kenny Loggins, though, because will they be in the danger zone by the end of it or not? I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. One thing actually I would say towards that is the fact that Devo is currently playing on 116 ping.
Not great.
That slows them down a lot. I think that actually might be contributing to that thought process of, okay, is Devo part of our last two? Usually yes, because it's usually Remco or Greasy that create the play and Devo comes in. So maybe they think to themselves, all right, we're not leaving Devo back. We don't want him to be in that sort of situation, and that might honestly be prohibiting them right now to playing their usual style.
Yeah. And generally, if you are in a situation where you have a bit of ping and you have to worry about something like that, you probably want to be on offense more so, because when you're on defense, they have control, right?
Yes.
Your opponents are the ones that are taking shots on you. When you're on offense, even you just kind of being there around the ball, they have to start trying to read you, right? They have to start trying to read what you might be capable of, because you're the one that has the options, because you're the one in control of the ball. So you usually, I mean, this is like a weird, you don't really meta around ping, but if you had to, you probably want to keep them away from net, because that's the quick reaction. That's where you need to be able to get there as pinpoint as possible. Possible. That's the word.
Yes,
that is a word.
That is the word.
Possible.
You're good at this.
So that
you're
you can
paid to
save
talk.
the ball. Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah. Isn't it?
Yeah, I have to completely agree with you with that, especially... All right, what I'm going to say here is going to sound very harsh. It's not exactly how I meant it. I'm going to explain afterwards. You have to play it like it's solo standard, because you've now got less trust in that person at the back. You don't quite know anymore what's going to happen. So you suddenly, in solo standard, if you want to grind and go up, you think to yourself, not necessarily you have to go and score, you just have to make sure you don't concede.
Yep.
And that's kind of the thought process I think might be happening there. But hopefully that will get sorted out. But for MOCKIT, boy, oh boy, did they make good use of that time.
They really did turn it around. And, you know, if I were to try and just throw a bunch of stuff at a dartboard and see, hey, what tactics could we try this time? If you're going to play like that, which I do agree with, because now you don't know what your teammates are capable of, right? You don't understand, like, I don't know what he can get to, how quickly he can react. So you need to kind of, you know, play more defensively. You always need to play defensively when you don't know what your teammates are capable of, and try and go for counterattacks instead. And then on top of that, you might want to go for bumps, because now MOCKIT thinks they have control. They're going to push up. You get a single demolition. There's a big gaping hole to try and get a midfield shot from. So, I mean, this is, I'm not at all saying, here's how you play meta when you have ping. Because that actually is not a real thing.
It just sucks.
But we're here just speculating, because that's what we're here to do, and you're going to have to listen to it. And you probably agree with us, because we're always right.
We are always right.
Yep.
Grand champ, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll get there. You'll get there. I'll carry you over the next week. We've only got a couple of games to do that.
Hang my head low.
We've only got a couple of days to do that, Carpet. I'll sort you out, okay?
All right.
It's not boosting.
No.
No.
It's never.
No,
Actually, it's
I'm
the
low
opposite.
ranked.
It's the exact
I'm low
opposite.
ranked. You know, I got to fix it.
You can't boost someone that's lower than you. It's not how it works.
Actually true.
Yeah.
Actually true. But we're going to be getting into our next game soon enough. More time for MOCKIT to converse. More time for them to think of new stuff. Why not just go for the same thing? Right now, it's all in Envy. What are they going to change? It's going to be the big question heading into our next matchup, which we are going to get into somewhat soon, I hope.
Yeah.
I hope this feels like verbally treading water at this point. I can't swim very good to start with, Carpet.
It does, you know, it is apparent that Devo does still have a bit of the ping, and I think the biggest problem is he's right at the ping where you start to see issues.
Yes.
Right around 120. Between 100 and 120 is where you really start to notice it. Anything lower than that, it's very minimal. You really don't notice it in like the super high, quick 50-50 super slam moments.
Super slam, super slam.
But at 120
Coming
ping.
this Sunday.
At 120
Rocket
ping.
League Super Slam.
You notice
that
it
was
a lot.
really good.
That was good.
They should have got us involved in that partnership with WWE.
Oh, yeah, you and me, easy.
Oh, wait, they did. Greasy. Already going to take advantage of that ball. Envy will look to see what they can do with this. They want to start this game off as well as possible. All eyes are going to be on Devo as this series moves along. Exactly what he's going to be trying to do. But if there's any player that can deal with that sort of situation, it's going to be Remco, but it's going to be Greasy to start off this game. Great individual play.
Greasy with a solo play. He had no support here. Actually, he did. Devo was in mid, but the moment that went up, he dropped back because he had total faith that Fairy Peak was going to clear it to the side. So we watched Devo take his car pointing from his opponent's goal and then put it to the right wall. I'm going to find it over here. Also, ping. Let's hope I can read this. But the moment it was unanswered, Greasy just went for the solo play.
So Devo launching it, hits the crossbar. Greasy wants to try and follow it. If there's any man that knows how to follow up a crossbar shot, it will be Greasy. Devo now playing over into the corner. Was trying to steal the mid boost, but couldn't time it right. And now off that backboard, this will be dangerous. Remco's still playing pretty well. Gets another block. His valuable yards picked up now. It's going to be Fairy Peak against Greasy. Pashi coming in, pass over to Freaky. And that is how you turn a 1v1 into a 1v Nash shut up of scored.
A 3v1. Poor guy. Greasy did everything he could, but that is exactly how you do it. That is how you think, not even outside the box. That's like a standard, let's just outplay this poor guy who can only go in one direction when he jumps. They got it right over Greasy, then they hit it right into the backboard knowing that he closed off the angle, and they took a shot before the second defender could get there in time.
And that really does show off the experience that we've got on this pitch. You wouldn't expect that from too many of our new teams that we have in the RLCS. Just that ability to have the call come out, just going, you've got time. Let's play this properly. Let's not try and rush it. And it does work out, so we are now all tied up. This game has merely just started as Pashi takes the ball. Devo looking to run straight into it. Now Remco in that corner as well. It's going to be very difficult for Envy to set anything up here. Just waiting to see what came out, and that's going to be a big challenge win. It's Devo looking to go into the corner. Pashi now just slowing down the pace a little bit more, both these squads. Afterwards, a frantic start to this matchup. Fairy Peak now controlled the ball. He did so well with this last time. Pashi, though, misses the ball. And Devo will take it away. Like the idea there from Freaky, but there is no one to aim for. When the game slows down like this, there's just certain things that you're now starting to look for. Who's controlling those two mid boosts? Who can hit the ball off that backboard first? Usually the way that we slow down these long ball games. Until then, though, both these teams will be looking to just not make a mistake and not give up too much space to their opponents.
MOCKIT nearly got caught completely out of net earlier, which I assume why they slowed it down a bit. It is a tie game, so you think they could play a bit more aggressive, but that drop down was so close.
Oh, Fairy Peak is just... He might be the best player in the world when he plays an inch away from the goal.
Yep.
It's a weird little congratulations that we've given him there, but he shall wear it like a badge of honor, I'm sure.
On that cereal box of a car.
Oh, speaking of which, that is just criminal. That is criminal defending right there. And Envy take the lead yet again.
I mean, there really isn't much to say here. There's the one thing to say is that guy just messed up right there. I don't want to say his name. No one needs to remember. No one needs to remember who
Shall be known as Whiff.
Whiff.
Missed. So, final 2 minutes. Envy taking the lead back. Took the first game as well. Then dropped the second one, but now they just have to hold on. Because MOCKIT's going to be the team that has to try and find a way forward. Now Freaky up high. It's going to be lost over to Greasy. Envy very strong at keeping that rotation together. I doubt these long ball games are going to work out for MOCKIT. Fairy Peak's got control. He's also got Pashi, who's going to go launching forward. He overplayed it. He thought Devo was going to move, and Devo nuts to steal. Tried his hardest, but he will inevitably beat. And yet again, MOCKIT 3v1.
Devo played as well as he could. He actually juked Pashi. He didn't even jump.
Nope.
He juked him out of the bump, but that was still enough to choke him up just enough. And another 3v1. Poor guy, and he's dealing with just a wee bit of ping. The struggle bus for Devo.
I think that was what it was. He didn't even see Pashi.
You don't think
He
so?
just went past him. Here they come. Fairy Peak with a shot. It's Greasy. At least gets it up high. We are now tied up again as we head into the final minutes. Freaky over into the corner. Opportunities now for MOCKIT. Fairy Peaks have to play this backwards. A very solid series so far as Fairy Peak. He does need to keep that going though. Consistency could make the difference. Freaky just had to try and juke out of the way of Fairy Peak though. Just couldn't get the contact that he wanted. Now Envy need to play this one out. It's going to be hard though, with pretty much every single MOCKIT player lining up, ready and waiting to try and go for a challenge. We're going to try it yet again. Here's Greasy, waiting for Remco to come up. Waited too long, Fairy Peak takes him out. Oh, this could be dangerous. That backboard, Pashi, into the corner. Envy can put something together here. They had one player taken out, and it's going to be Greasy with the shot. Fairy Peak launching himself straight back down with the save.
Remco could have had it, but again, dropping so far back when they had possession in their opponent's half. But will they get the drop just a bit wide?
One more opportunity for Team Envy. They've got to put this together, but another long clear. Devo was looking for Remco, but put it behind him, and we are going to head into overtime. Crucial overtime as well. The winner of this will be on match points.
Tied up in the series, tied up in the game. Golden goal.
Long clear. Pashi has to try and play it to the side, but Remco read the play well. He's got that one set up for Greasy. Every single player is committed. Will Remco turn around? No, instead he leaves it for Devo. Puts that up high. Just needed to be more powerful though. Everyone on MOCKIT had already committed. They'd already lost a lot of boost. Just going for that one. Something more powerful could really have set Envy up to try and finish this match. Now Pashi gets the contact. Devo and Remco, they both make contact. It will be a save. Envy and MOCKIT both with very good opportunities, neither of them converting. It's MOCKIT try to go to the other end of the pitch. I'd be surprised if we go back into long range. Just clear balls, being consistent.
Especially in overtime. Generally, you play a little more guerrilla when you're in overtime. You want to get that good opportunity, but the last thing you want to do is have a tiny misposition, a tiny misplay to be your punishing factor of how you lose a game. So you usually drop back once you get your good shot and then try and reset.
Remco pushes it. Two players move, but they have managed to land close to the wall. If you do manage to dive in, then you always want to be landing at least on something. The wall doesn't really matter what. As long as you can recover quickly enough. Not just swing your car down to the other end of the pitch. Pashi looks for the bump on Greasy. It will not matter though, the shot was not on target.
Remco has Devo.
Still there. Remco tried. Low boost though, meant it was difficult for him to flick the ball on top of his car. It's going to be Envy with a good opportunity here. Remco looking for a crucial touch. There's going to be Fairy. Big challenge when he's got the goal to aim for. He's got an opportunity, and yet again, it was right there for MOCKIT. They have not taken the opportunity.
Fairy peak again, caving under pressure, it seemed. He may have landed awkwardly, which is probably why he wasn't able to get the power, but that's got to be crushing for him to see it right in front of you and to have it ripped away.
Shot wasn't difficult enough. That's what it was for Fairy Peak.
He wasn't close enough to net and on the backboard and getting the most ridiculous angle of all time.
Well, he's going to go for it yet again. Now up in the air, carrying the ball as much as possible. He tried to fake out Devo. Did not quite work. Now Freaky rotating back, still getting contact over to the side. We are now 2 minutes and 20 seconds, almost halfway through another game into this overtime. The MOCKIT org, no strangers to big overtimes. And this could be yet another one unless one of these teams can find a way of breaking through. Pashi, double touch using that sidewall. He's got opportunities, he's got options, he's got very big to aim for, but there is Devo. He is being consistent. I like that Devo has seen his situation and he's not overextending, instead keeping what he's doing very simple.
He's going to try and resist jumping off the ground until he knows for a fact he has it, especially if there's any kind of inconsistency with where he thinks that ball is. So he will be playing a bit safer in general, but he's usually not the most risky player either.
Should be Remco's. Back over into the corner. 3 minutes now down. Going to be something there for Freaky. Will he settle? Will he shoot? He's going to get neither. Remco, yet again. His rotations have been solid. It was actually Devo that went in for that. I do apologize. It's going to be Remco right here. Another long clear. Both these teams just looking for anything. There's not too much creativity going into these plays. But there is a lot of respect. Just not wanting to be the team that makes that mistake, not being the team that gives it up. That could be an opportunity. Devo can't make it there in time. Greasy and Devo make huge errors in the background, and MOCKIT are on match points.
They both tried to go up for this, and neither of them stay in net. Devo tried his little heart out to try and get back into the front of the net, but MOCKIT, after what's that, 4-minute overtime? It's almost an entire game's length worth of time. After MOCKIT will secure it, and they are now at match point, and you can see the shot spread relatively even.
Well, it's not completely related, but I've never seen a score between 3 players be that close.
Yep.
On Team Envy. That is pretty ridiculous, but MOCKIT grind and they grind and they grind, and eventually it happens. The mistake is there. Open net finally turned in, and now they are up 2 games to 1. 1 game left to go, and Envy is a bad situation for them, but at the same time, it's a crucial situation for them. It's not the way they want this to be going, but they have to win.
And I mean, that's a play style you almost always see in overtime, right? You always see the you don't really see a team just go for that relentless like pressure where they're just like attack. Because again, all it takes is one tiny mistake, especially now the pressure's there. Everyone in the back of their head knows if we get scored on, we lose, as opposed to if we get scored on, we still have 3 minutes left. That really does just change the way a player is going to react around the field. And usually it might even make them hesitate, like, I don't know if I can go for that because I can't risk it. Oh, wait, no, me hesitating just ruined the game anyways. So you almost always see the kind of just breakdown where you just push and you push slowly over time. You're not trying to break them immediately, but eventually you find one little mistake and you'll sink it when they're not expecting it. Devo still seems to be on a bit of a struggle bus right now, but he's still playing well. Yeah, it's really not that noticeable in his play. It might be more noticeable in the way that they're, using him as a teammate and the way that he's moving around the pitch.
I do like that they have adapted. It's not perfect, but the ability to adapt is ever so important, and have done so. For MOCKIT, this is their opportunity. They need to bare their fangs, and they need to finish this off. We head into game number 4 in our final series of the day. Some of you out there want this game to continue just because you're MB fans. Some of you want it to continue because you're just fans of Rocket League. And some of you want it to continue just because you want extra awards. No matter what your reasoning, I think we all want extra Rocket League. Everyone except MOCKIT. Unfortunately, they're the team that have got the biggest influence in that decision. Played over to the other side. MOCKIT just taking their time, sizing up, going for a V rotation to hold every single potential avenue in areas that they can react. 2 players up. It's going to be Fairy Peak. He's actually got an opportunity to go for the double tap. Now Devo wants to see how it's done. Still going to try for that sort of play.
They didn't name this after me. What do you think you're doing, Fairy Peak?
I want something to be named after me. That isn't just insulting. Let's not go for that. Fairy Peak wants to get to the side, almost managed to screen Greasy from getting to the ball. Now Pashi looking to try and go for Devo over in that background, but he did manage to avoid it. 90 seconds now gone. And yet again, as it seems to be for a lot of MB series, not necessarily the fastest paced game that we've seen, but it's all down to making sure that you make critical moves at the right time. Pass over to the side, Remco wants something. He's actually going to have to leave that for Greasy. Plays that one long. Already scored a couple of goals off that backboard. Even followed up one of his own setups in the previous game. Devo's not even going to be close to that. It's going to be handed straight over to Fairy Peak. Ball now up. Remco can try and get there. But for every single time, the backboard I just don't trust right now if you're NV.
Yeah, they really, I feel like, need to get those more creative midfields or that, catch someone down on the backboard.
It's a catch-22 right now. So we already mentioned that they don't want to be leaving Devo back. And then, like, the safest way you can possibly play is backboard follow-up. But that's just not going to work. I really doubt they can try and break down this very stellar MOCKIT defense using that. And there's going to be a great shot. Oh, my goodness. We wanted creativity. Greasy just smacked it one.
After getting bumped by Freaky as well, recovery, incredible. Oh, what is that placement?
I think the goal explosion just explained everything. Greasy is a demon.
He got a nice shot out of Freaky. He got an all-chat nice shot out of his opponent. That's how you know it's juicy.
I'll pick juicy over the word spicy. Gibbs is being replaced.
Yep.
So Envy, they take the first goal. It's been a long time coming. The game has definitely winded down as we're going to head into the final 2 minutes. It's Envy. Now I want to try and carry. That was a lovely passing play. Freaky read that ever so well, and now MOCKIT starting to press. Just how well can they do it? It's not something we see from them often. Devo almost clattering into 2. We've opened up a lot of space. Actually now dropping it down. Where's MOCKIT going to play this? They've got options, but unfortunately none of it's gone for them. Devo has an opportunity to try and get the set. It was a difficult one to pull off. And MOCKIT, one of their strongest attributes is the fact that they can make mistakes, but the recovery time that they have is almost instantaneous.
The better these teams get, the harder it is to punish these double commits because they'll always recover and then make something out of their positioning. People are just getting more and more creative.
That backboard Remco thinking about it. He's going to get contact. Also drops down. He wants to try and steal some boost. I don't think it's spawned in time for him, though. One of the most annoying things in Rocket League is if someone just walks over that, gets it, and you never saw it actually come up on the animation. But if you can time it well enough, then it does happen. The backboard, Devo. Gonna go for the set, but Remco is on the rotation back. Greasy knows better than to triple commit on a 1-goal lead. Doesn't make contact, though. Does get a block. He's gonna have to try and throw some bodies, and there is gonna be Pashi. Double tap. I don't think it was intentional, but I don't think he will care.
That miss from Greasy. He was still able to get the block on the Fairy Peak, but by then his team was a bit in a frenzy. It did bounce back down into Pashi's nose. Again, not intent. I mean, there is a small percentage chance that was intentional. I don't think Pashi's outside of the capacity to do something like that, but I think that was a circumstance where it did happen to fall back on him, but a tie is a tie. And they are stacking people up in net. Look at that, Envy. They keep going for the backboard, so MOCKIT are just gonna stack people in net, so you can't shoot it past them.
All tied up yet again, final 30 seconds. Greasy has a chance. Fairy Peak rotates in just in time. Devo has actually got a decent setup, and Remco does want to have a little look at that. Pashi with the control. I think he got a better touch than even he was expecting. So final 10 seconds, we can head into overtime yet again. MOCKIT taking the previous one. As they ground out Envy. Greasy is going to be flailing. Required his team to come in and help him out. That's going to be an opportunity now, but it's going to be just out of reach of MOCKIT. Overtime yet again in a must-win for Envy. They want to try and force a game 5. Remco's going to have a good opportunity. Sets that up off the backboard. Crucial touch, that Freaky. Look at how difficult it is for Devo to set up, but he did still manage to get something out of it, and now MOCKIT on the counter, but Remco already back. Start of these overtimes always so frantic, both these teams wanting to end it as quickly as possible. And it starts to slowly settle down. Remco leaving, Greasy leaving, everyone's gonna have to rotate back now. Prioritizing defense is Envy, and that's gonna be a side for it from Fairy Peak. Now Remco with the pass up to the middle, looks for Devo. But Pashi has it read, gets the interception. Now Fairy Peak against Devo in the net, looks for Pashi, and Devo, he saw him. I don't know how he saw him. He must have had bull cam on, but he just noticed Pashi out of the corner of his eye and knew this was the play they were gonna go for.
I think the moment he actually, I don't know if he ever showed up on his cam, but the moment he noticed that Fairy Peak wasn't going for the shot, he had to assume it was for the pass, but almost got bumped out of the way.
MOCKIT still prodding. They want to find a way through. They want to end it right now. Fairy Peak flick up. He's got Pashi up to the side. Gets the flick. But it's too close to the Envy defense for Pashi to want to commit to. Now over in the corner. Possible setup. Pashi goes for it. He doesn't get the contact he wants. MOCKIT finally starting to spread out their rotation a little bit. They were very clumped up in the Envy half. Envy still need to find a way out of this situation. Another long clear. They've got people to aim for in the middle, but Pashi, great positioning, 100 boost. It'll be tough to get that one past him. Gonna drop straight down. Greasy, leaving it for Remco. Remco, he's trying to force these mid-air 50-50s. Not quite working out as well as he was hoping, but one big win could spell the end of MOCKIT's defense. Opportunity, but Freaky holding himself on that goal line. Now Fairy Peak keeps it going, just adds that little bit more power. Back to end, 2 minutes into this overtime carpet. And it's done as we predicted, slowed down.
They're just gonna keep clearing it until they see one weak touch. This is actually a pivotal moment. Devo unable to get the clear, so now Fairy Peak will put up pressure. Oh, but Devo will continue with that defense.
Gonna drop straight down, there's an open net, Fairy Peak has ended it! MOCKIT takes the win!
There it is, Fairy Peak as close to that backboard as possible on the ground. The moment he saw the clear from Freaky, he planted himself on the ground, no one in net from Envy, and MOCKIT eSports will take down Team Envy, and they will stay in the danger zone. Team Envy now really need to start getting those wins.
That pass off the backboard could not have hit anywhere more dangerous on that back wall.
Yeah.
Not only did it catch the curve towards the ceiling, also caught the curve going into the corner. It's hard to read. It is very hard to read, especially with Remco rotating himself back. But the big story, MOCKIT take a huge win, and Envy are going to be dropped into that huge battle for playoff spots.
We really did see them wake up in comparison to what we've seen before. And yes, Devo may have been struggling with ping, but it's still a defeat on their behalf. There's really not much he can do about it right now. Just try and pick your head up and go strong. We saw Remco earlier, on social media just talking about like, you know what, I need, something needs to change, and I think he knows it too. So he's like, I'm going to remove myself from this facet right now, and I just want to put my head in it. They definitely seemed better in this game than before. I'm curious to know what the analysts think over on the desk. But either way, MOCKIT, this is big for them. They are, in contention spot for those top 2, top 3.
Well, you're curious. I'm curious. I'm sure all of you are curious. Let's go over to them. Axel, to you.
Yeah, big victory there for MOCKIT, and honestly, a really big day for MOCKIT as well. Getting 2 victories, and those 2 victories over Flipside Tactics and over Team Envy. So I believe that pushes MOCKIT up to 2-1 in the standings. So definitely starting off things pretty strong. Let's take a look at the Mobile One high-performance replay from that one as our final match of the day. We were like, hey, can Envy bring it back? Can they turn it around? They kind of have to, but MOCKIT's like, no.
Oh, that was such an incredible series, though. It was
a great
so
series.
Back and forth, and even, I wonder what happened at the start with the delay in between the games. That first game, Envy came out so strong, and then there was a delay. And if you know Pashy is going to do anything he can to win. Maybe it was a little bit of mind games trying to stop that momentum, because then in the second game, MOCKIT just bounced back. I thought both of these teams played an incredible series. Yeah. 3-1 wasn't, to me, this was super close. Yeah, it was like a 5-game
We had
series.
this overtime too. 3 minutes and 41 seconds, incredibly long, and that's one of the biggest indicators of just how tight these teams are. It's just these long overtimes, and I think we had a couple of them too.
Yeah, and Fairy Peak scored both of the overtime winners, and that was after he missed that wide open net in the first overtime. So luckily for him, he did get the winner, so it won't be haunting him tonight. But huge win for MOCKIT, but Envy, they played well, and this is what we expected to see from Envy. I felt like this was more along that lines. But again, it's Europe, where every game is so tough that you're still going to lose a few here or there, even when you are playing at your best. So big shout out to MOCKIT, though. They go 2-0, which means they also gained 2 games on Flipside and Envy, because they both go 0-2. Yeah. So that's big.
I guess you needed to factor the EU factor twice.
Maybe today it wasn't as much.
The formula is still under construction.
Of course, it's Europe. It's never right, but they do have metric systems, so that's nice.
Yeah,
it is nice.
And I think, just that can't be understated as far as, the day that MOCKIT came into, right, with the schedule where you have to play against Flipside and Envy. And when we're talking about that, it's like that's a tough day. But they get victories in both. And I feel like there's another team, I can't remember right now, maybe
PSG.
PSG did the same thing, I want to say.
PSG
faced the same 2 teams in the same day.
PSG
no, they played
well,
secret.
And
okay,
then also Excel did well.
Right.
So, it's just, those 3 teams, they showed up.
But for Pashy, too.
Big winners and big losers today.
But for Pashy being forever third, I feel like in Europe, behind Flipside, behind Envy, for so long, it's got to feel great for him to get wins over 2 of the biggest rivals he's had since the start of Rocket League.
Okay, and honestly, from that match in particular, I'm so happy it was the last one. I feel like these last 2 matches have been absolutely just excellent. And you got to imagine those feelings when we get in overtime. I want to talk about Greasy a little bit because we saw some amazing plays there from Greasy. I feel like especially in that last game where it felt like Envy was trailing off and Greasy was trying to make something happen. Can you touch on that a little bit? Did you think Greasy was kind of rising up there as the series went along, or how did you kind of see that playing out, guys?
So it seems like Greasy is that clutch player. When series start getting longer and longer and overtimes get longer, we saw it in the best of 7 series last season with Flipside. He was the difference maker for him. And Greasy, he had that amazing redirect goal as well in this series. He was really trying to battle right here.
Right off the wall.
Oh my God!
Was
and
so
the
sick.
placement, it was just beautiful. But Greasy, he seems like he has that a little bit of a clutch factor with him, and he is a world champion, so he knows how to win.
Yeah.
And he proved it here again. He tried his best, but MOCKIT was just too strong.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a very scary moment for the defending world champions. This squad won it all last year. Turbo obviously substituting in. He's not on the team anymore. Greasy trying to fill that spot. So you have to wonder what is going through Envy's minds right now. Yeah. They bring on Greasy as that third, and now they're struggling in league play. And with their current record, 7th place isn't out of the question, so they really need to turn it around. Time is running out.
I'm gonna look at Twitter really quick here. Use the hashtag RLCS. If you have something particularly compelling or you have a question for the desk, ask now. I'm looking on Twitter right now. Use the hashtag RLCS with your question, and we might get to it. But let's talk about the overall picture right now of the European region. And this is a region that we've always said they're so close in skill. Are we reaching the point where we're seeing definitive tiers of skill on a lot of these teams?
I don't see it in Europe. I feel like Europe, it's just like combination. The only team maybe is Team Secret out of it, but I still feel like even though Method and PSG are 4-0, they are very vulnerable teams that can lose to all these other teams that are in this league. Again, except for Team Secret right now. Team Secret, though, they have a bye week and they're coming back week 5. They need 2 wins, but at this point, that loss for Envy kind of helps them a bit. It keeps Envy pretty low, and Flipside's also down there. So if Secret goes 2-0, they could pass both Envy and Flipside and make it into the playoffs.
I agree with you on Europe. And for North America as well, I want to say the exact same thing. You have the one team, Allegiance, who's down there at the bottom, but then really anyone can compete. Renegades has been struggling a little bit, but I mean, we saw FlyQuest beat G2, and G2 went ahead and beat Cloud9. And then Ghosts, they beat NRG. So I think we are seeing a lot more parity in the league with all of these teams. And now, like, we've had upsets too leading into this season with Fibian not making it in North America and Leftovers not making it in Europe. How is that going to play out in the promotion relegation? So we're going to have a really fun season to watch. And I'm really excited. It's great seeing all these players and teams really just elevating their skill level.
Yeah.
Going through these results again, guys, from the day, we had 3 teams go 2-0. PSG, Excel, and MOCKIT. Who had the better day? Who had the best day of the 3?
I would have to,
I know it's a hard one, but who's feeling happier?
MOCKIT because they didn't play Team Secret, so they didn't get that almost like a free victory there. So for MOCKIT to beat 2 other teams that are rivals to make playoffs, to make top 2, not really anymore for Envy and Flipside, but I would say MOCKIT had the better day just because their opponents were a little bit tougher.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
It's time to get our player of the week. Who's our player of the week? Gibbs, you wanna reveal it this time?
Sure. Niels Cook is our player of the week.
Boom.
6-0, perfect day for Excel, and that's exactly what they needed. They were 0-1. They had a tough series versus Gale Force last week. They come out really strong here. They play Team Secret and Envy. I almost flanked, you know. It's been a long day, but they played Envy. Perfect. A 6-0, but Niels Cook scoring 10 goals in 6 games. That's insane.
And they get a monkey off their back, you know? Niels Cook and his teammate, who else is he playing with? Niels Cook. I know it's Pondex, and no, who's the one from Zensis. Gosh.
It's a long
Blank
day.
it out, yeah, both of us. But they were 1-7 or 1-6 last season. They had a really rough season last season, and picking up, their Pondex from Penta. I'm struggling here. It's huge for them because even Penta had a horrible season last season. So to get more wins today than they had all of last season, that's massive. And Niels was a big factor in it today.
Plus, they won their first game of last season. So they lost 6 in a row, then 7 in a row, like if you count last week as well. So I'm really happy for Niels Cook. He was kind of the star of the team last season as well. And now he's performing here once again. 10 saves as well. So he's doing it on both sides of the field. And again, that's only in 6 games. Like we see a lot of these player days, they'll have 2 tough series where they go 10 games, but in 6 games, 10 goals, 10 saves, well done.
They're contenders. I honestly believe they're contenders. Pondex was awesome today in that first series with his shots. So Excel, keep your eyes on them moving forward.
Are they like a FlyQuest from North America or a Ghost, I guess? What would be the best team to compare them to, just for fun?
I feel like they might be better than both because I still feel like we were talking about tiers in NA. I think there is a couple teams in NA that might be a little bit higher, but in Europe it's so random that it's like maybe Excel can push in there. Who knows?
All right, we'll see. Let's take a look at the standings. Still a couple weeks to go in this round-robin action, but here's how they stand right now. Congrats to Method and PSG guaranteeing themselves a spot in the playoffs and into next season of RLCS. They cannot be caught. They will get top 4, right, Gibbs? Or top 6?
Top 6 for PSG and Method, yes. Both of them will at least be in the regional championships and be playing for season number 5. But my big thing here, number 5 is Gale Force, the team that everyone thought was number 1 coming in. Then we have number 6 is Flipside Tactics, the season 2 world champions. Then number 7 is Team Envy, the reigning world champions. So there's still a lot to be played for it. And honestly, for Secret, sure they go 0-2, but at least Flipside and Envy also did that as well. So they still have a chance to get into that 6th spot.
Yeah, these standings, still a lot of room to move, but I agree. Big surprise there, number 5, 6, and 7. Gale Force, Flipside Tactics, and MB. I would not have guessed it. Though I'm not guessing anything. I was wrong in 5 out of 6 matches today. So submit your applications now for Desk Host Analyst of RLCS. It's probably up in the air. Let's
Do
go
it on
look at
Twitter.
that.
Use hashtag RLCS.
Yeah. Hey, wow, James. Submit that one. Let's take a look at North America, though, to get everyone caught up on the North American RLCS standings. This action, Week 3, completed yesterday. And here's how that looks. Cloud9, NRG, G2, I guess, going as predicted. Those were our big 3 coming in. We're always talking about those 3 teams, but here's how the standings
So
look.
we have 2 undefeated teams in Europe, which is very surprising, and then no undefeated teams in North America. And like you said, at the big 3 up at top, Cloud9, NRG, G2, but it's still so very close. In North America, those 7 spots, anything can happen.
I mean, only
anything.
2 weeks left, and we have 12 games left for both these regions, so every single game, like we say it all the time, like I think I said every game was a big game today, but it is. It really is, because you only play 7, so it's coming down the wire.
And this is where we get the calculators out, Gibbs, right? We got to stay on top of these playoff
I know, playoff
implications.
scenarios. I was hoping, now I actually have to work.
Yeah.
Soon, TN.
Yeah, next week probably we're going to get a lot more data on that. So we'll stay on top of that. We're about to close out the show here. I think that's all we have to cover. We're going to throw a broadcast schedule up on the screen back here. It looks really fancy because you need to be tuning in to twitch.tv/Rocket League on more than just weekends. We have stuff going on Wednesdays, RLCS Overtime starting at 10 a.m. Pacific. We have the Rival Series, actually some incredible matches there, very high level play. Check that out on Fridays, 11 a.m. We have the Europeans playing, and of course at 5 p.m. we have the North American matches playing, and then of course the weekend, Saturday starting at noon Pacific, Sunday starting at 9 a.m. Pacific. We have RLCS action happening. Before we sign off, guys, any final thoughts, any final words?
It's words to the players, Hey, it's our job to critique you, but don't worry about it too much, guys. Like, you're the best in the world. Have some fun with it. Good luck to everyone.
Yeah, congratulations to the Method and PSG teams for already securing a spot in Season 5. That is massive, so go treat yourselves to like a root beer float or something.
And at this point, we
Too
are
young for
we are well past halfway through the season, so we're getting down to the very important matches. 2 more weeks left of league play before we get into the regional championships and eventually the world championships. So make sure you tune in next week here on twitch.tv/Rocket League as league play continues for North America and Europe here at the Rocket League Championship Series. On behalf of everyone here, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next weekend.